Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the episode of Frankenstein Control, where we cautiously attempt to unpack and process everything we bore witness to while watching the new Space Jam movie.
There are times in everyone's life that you remember forever and where you were, like 9/11.
When Kennedy got shot.
I remember where I was.
I remember what I was
up in that
when
book
I saw
tower.
Space Jam, The New Legacy. Or as we're going to call it from now on, Space Jam 2, because that's really annoying to call it that.
Yeah. It is. Everyone's
Space
just going to
Jam
call
2.
it Space Jam 2.
Exactly. And Space Jam 2 was indeed not really the 9/11 of movies, but it was more like the DC Sniper of movies. Where,
you still had to go to school, you just had to run in a zigzag pattern.
Yeah, like it didn't affect your life as much as you thought it would, but it was pretty life affecting.
It was
You did get a day off of school.
I did get a day off of school. And they told us to serpentine.
Serpentine. I knew somebody who went to the school where that kid got shot.
Oh my God.
And sort of knew the kid who got shot.
Holy shit. We're not talking about that, though. We're talking about something just as bad.
Oh, God.
Something that blends into the tapestry that makes these years awful.
All right,
Space Jam 2. Do we want to give a short summary of the movie?
Short summary. We're going to be bitching about it the whole damn episode.
Well, just let everybody know the structure before we unload on it.
I'll leave the
here's what
summarization.
happens. LeBron James knows how to slam, and he gets welcomed to a jam, and that's the movie.
Yeah.
That's about the...
Don Cheadle happens.
Yeah.
That's about as much as I understood. I mean, I was... As one really should be.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before we get way too deep in it, let's get the formalities out of the way. Welcome to Frankenstein Control. I'm your host, Taylor Russell. In front of me is Ada.
I'm Ada.
And to the left of me is B-Rai.
I'm B-Rai.
Well, welcome to the fucking jam, dog. It's on. Space Jam 2, Space Jam New Legacy, whatever you want to call it. It came out. We all have very differing opinions of it. So, yes, Ada, you wanted to do a quick summary. Let's fucking jump in, shall we?
Sure.
I'll let you guys do the summarizing, because I was stoned out of my gourd while we watched it.
You experienced mercy.
Yeah, I knew going into it, I wanted to insulate my psyche from I needed to roll for psychic damage to watch that movie, basically. so I rolled all right.
So the plot is LeBron James is a basketball player.
Basketballman, I believe is the term.
He has a son who doesn't really care about basketball. He wants to make video games.
His son.
His son is played by an aged-down Charles Barkley.
Yes, his son is played by a very, very small Charles Barkley with progeria. It's really, really fucking funny. Because I can't, okay, I'm not just being obtuse. The kid looks like Charles Barkley. He just looks like him. But little.
Yeah.
It's really funny, and I couldn't stop laughing the whole movie at this fact. Apologies to the kid. I'm sure you're very talented.
I don't know enough what Charles Barkley looks like.
Yeah, I wouldn't say looking like Charles Barkley is an insult. He's a fine, normal-looking man.
I guess when I think of Charles Barkley, I think of how terrible he is at golf.
I didn't even know he played
golf. And of course,
golf.
Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Yeah. That's primarily where I know him from, and also from now aged fairly poorly Clerks, the animated series.
Oh my God, he's a character in that show?
He was a random one-off character they trotted out from time to time, and usually Jay and Silent Bob beat him up.
By definition, that makes him not a one-off character if he's on from time to time.
Well, I mean, he might just be in one episode, and I think they have a callback to it.
If he shows up multiple times in a single episode, I would still count that as a one-off character.
And Jay and Silent Bob beat him up, and that's about all that happens.
Fucking microphone fell down. That's how fucked up Space Jam is. Oh my God. Space Jam.
Your microphone stand got space jammed.
It did. It got slammed. Okay, we're back.
So back onto the plot, if you can call it that. There's an AI played by Don Cheadle that works for Warner Brothers. He has this big pitch that he wants to give to LeBron James. He turns it down. He gets mad. and he kidnaps LeBron James and his son by zapping them into the Warner Brothers serververse.
Oh, I forgot about the word serververse.
Welcome to
Boy,
the
do I
serververse.
love that word.
And boy, do they love saying that.
They do.
He challenges to a basketball game and dumps him in Looney Tune World, and he has to go and assemble his team, and then they do the basketball game, and he learns that it was letting his son do whatever he wanted to do.
Look, it's the plot of every father-son movie ever.
Exactly. And Don Cheadle gets real mad and turns real shitty, and then the movie's over, and you question your life. But there's a lot of details.
Yes.
A lot of details.
The devil is in the detail, emphasis on Satan. And the fucking Space Jam 2 is... Okay, so first off, let's get our thoughts out on Space Jam 1, okay? Because I want like transparency here. Because I don't want our audience thinking that we're like nostalgia babies crying that this Space Jam isn't as good as the Space Jam when I was a little baby.
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
The
original
first Space Jam is shit.
Yeah, original Space Jam, not good.
It's a funny watch. It's fun to get drunk and watch with your friends and go, ha ha ha, funny.
My experience with Space Jam 1 was I was 7 years old at the time, and I loved it because I was 7, and that's who was supposed to love it.
Yeah.
And I briefly cared about basketball, not being an athletic child. With any interest in the sports.
I think that was the
And-
biggest effect that Space Jam had was...
it made a bunch of kids care about
Basketball and
basketball, yeah.
want to briefly try it before I learned that there was more to it that was hard and involved a lot of running.
There are no Looney Tunes on the court, and I just got disinterested.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Like, what's
just
the point if Foghorn Leghorn doesn't show up?
the novelty wore off. So like my Space Jam experience was that I liked it for probably most of the year that it came out and then forgot about it, as you do all things from childhood. I don't have an overly rosy nostalgic memory of it just because it just sort of faded into the background of my life and I never revisited it, and I knew that if I rewatched it as an adult I'd be like, oh my god, and who wants to do that? So I just mostly remember it as a thing that happened. I do not have an extra special, super powerful emotional attachment to it or anything
You said
like
that
that.
3 times already.
I did?
Right. Yes.
Head's in a loop. Are you
Yeah.
picked right now?
He's being driven mad by his memories of the Jam.
That may very well be true.
Yeah, original movie, not good. It was fun when we were kids. Trying to watch it again as an adult,
A little tougher.
yeah, a little tougher. It's
why I
a
never
little
tried.
cringy, but it's a fun enough watch.
Yeah, it's a fun enough, like I was saying, it's a fun enough watch. Get loaded with some friends and have a good laugh. It's enjoyable. There are some moments where you go, ha ha, hee hoo hoo, and you know, they're the funny moments. Ha ha, I believe I can fly. R. Kelly peed on a girl. Ha ha.
He's a pedophile.
And all that fun shit. So like, but it's not exactly fucking Oscar material, you know. It ain't gonna
Unless it's
win no
Oscar the
award.
Grouch because it goes in a tray.
Ah! But yeah, all is this to say that none of us have any particularly immense emotional investment in the first Space Jam. So with that out of the way, Space Jam 2 was, and I'm going to sum it up now and we'll get into it. Space Jam 2 was the modern open world video game of movies.
Ooh. Ooh, it
Where
was.
it's immensely huge and has nothing of substance.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
And requires a subscription and play online because it has to be annoying and awful.
Yes. Yeah, Space Jam 2 is a live service. The movie will be better, but you have to find the quality in loot boxes.
It's trying real hard to be like Genshin Impact.
Speaking of gushing grannies, the plot of Space Jam 2, to elaborate a little further, the big conflict of the movie is LeBron James' son, Charles Barkley, Hoops Barkley, who we'll be calling Hoops Barkley.
His name is Hoops.
For the rest of the movie. His name is Hoops.
I don't even remember what his actual name was.
I can't remember what his actual fucking
Dom.
name is.
It's Dom.
That's what it was.
That was what it was called his game, Dom Ball.
That's right.
Which
Shit.
just sounds like a weird, like, kink thing.
It,
Yeah.
it
Like,
really
I go
does.
to the Dom Ball to find myself a sub.
So to avoid Subway sandwiches, we'll just call him Hoops Barkley from now on. LeBron James and Hoops, they kind of have a strained relationship in the beginning of the movie. LeBron is trying to get him to, be part of the legacy, to master the game of the b-ball, and then his son is like, I want to play video games.
I want
to play video games. You ever heard that song?
I don't want to know.
Okay, well, anyway.
I feel like we're just defending some poor child.
Yeah,
I would absolutely also believe that LeBron James would name one of his children Hoops. So I don't find that implausible.
So anyway, the king himself, he's like, but you should play the basketball. And the kid's like, but there's a video game camp happening next week, father. And LeBron is like, no, you will go to basketball camp instead. No son of mine shall be a weeb. And so they have a little brief argument, but then they go to Warner Brothers Studios, and they're like, LeBron, we have our algorithm has come up with a new thing to market with you, and we want to talk about it. And I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And so they take him to Warner Brothers Studios.
It's so fucking contrived.
They take him to Warner Brothers Studios, and here's the other thing.
For a cameo by Sarah Silverman.
A cameo by Sarah Silverman, and we
Yeah, Taylor and I had
talk about it now, or should we save
Yes,
this?
Taylor and I had a discussion about this.
Yeah.
So, in this movie, LeBron James is LeBron James.
Mm-hmm. Himself.
Michael B. Jordan is also Michael B. Jordan, because there's a cringy bit where they're like, oh, we found Michael Jordan, but it's B. Jordan, the actor.
Yeah.
So, like, within this universe, he is himself. He's an actor. But Sarah Silverman plays a secretary.
Yeah.
So, in this universe, is just Sarah Silverman not exist as an actress? Has she just been relegated to service work?
Kristen Schaal plays Sarah Silverman's role in Wreck-It Ralph in that universe.
You know what? That was fit. And we reached the same conclusion with Wayne Knight.
Wayne
in the first
Knight,
one.
So in the first Space Jam.
He's not Wayne Knight. He's not the actor. He's like some manservant of I think they call him caddies of Michael Jordan.
Well, he wasn't. He was like his personal assistant.
Manservant, then.
Wayne, you mean the Newman guy?
Yeah, Newman.
I don't remember Newman being in that one at all.
Yeah, he got.
Was he the basketball?
No, he does get flattened at one point.
And he does get inflated.
Yeah, inflated.
Inflated too.
Wayne Knight inflation art. Google that, kid.
But see, the connection that we drew is that we suddenly realized, wait a minute, Bill Murray is also in Space Jam 1. As Bill Murray.
He's just Bill Murray.
He's
the
just
actor.
Bill Murray. And so, if LeBron James is LeBron James, and Michael B. Jordan is Michael B. Jordan, and with that same logic in Space Jam 1, if Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan, and Bill Murray is Bill Murray, but Sarah Silverman and Wayne Knight are not their respective actors, but instead strange help class people. What's the logic here? What's going on? And the only thing I could think of is if you are relegated to a helping position, you are now instantly a C class actor, and your existence no longer is that anymore. If you are in the Space Jam universe,
okay.
If you are a C class actor, nobody's fucking heard of you, even though thousands of people have heard of you. No, you're a fucking manservant. You're a fucking secretaricus.
Was she a secretary, or was she just another vapid executive?
I don't know. I said secretary
because it's not functionally important.
It's not really explained.
She had secretary vibes.
Yeah, she had secretary vibes.
She could have been in charge. She could have done a better job making her look in charge. Yeah. There we go. If she was in charge.
She just kissed ass the whole time.
But see, here's the other thing. Nobody commented that... What's his...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, Don Cheadle.
God, what's his fucking character's name?
Al. I think they just call him Al.
His name is Al G. Rhythm.
Yeah.
That's right. Fuck. God damn it. Ali G. Show Rhythm.
I kept calling him Ali G.
Yeah.
I just referred to him as Ali G. I couldn't keep it in my head.
After we're about to say, we'll just keep referring to him as Don Cheadle because it's funny. Yeah. Because he has a funny name. Anyway, the thing is that going through this logic that we just went through, nobody said, yo, LG, you look like Don Cheadle. Which would be like if you were like sucked into a fucking magical Ready Player One marketing universe.
Yeah.
Marketing universe.
The person who sucked you in was a fucking computer that looked like, I don't know,
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Sure. It looks like David S. Pumpkins shows up. You're probably going to say, hey, they're going to be like, I am Al G. Rhythm. You'll be like, no, you look like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, you look like Tom Hanks. And
so this stands to reason that Don Cheadle does also not exist in the Space Jam universe as an actor.
Yeah.
But Don Cheadle's a big star.
Exactly. But for some reason, they decided no. Don Cheadle does not exist.
You know what it is? In that universe, that guy from the first Iron Man who played his friend, War Machine. God damn it! What's his character?
Rhodey?
Rhodey, yes. The first guy to play Rhodey stayed on and didn't make the absolute worst fucking decision of his goddamn acting career and saying no to the next movie. What an idiot. That's really funny, and I'll always laugh. That boy missed out. That's like spending all your Bitcoin on pizza in like 2015, you know? Like, I had 28,000 Bitcoin and I bought a pizza with it.
It was a good pizza, I guess.
They offered me a career and they offered me to be War Machine in the other movies, and I said no.
I hate money.
Don Cheadle. Okay, so Don Cheadle, he's the algorithm, and he's like, hey, LeBron, I have this ability that I can scan your likeness and fucking use it in everything. And you don't even have to act or anything. You just have your likeness, I scan it, and then I act as you and like in the universe, and we make commercials and we make TV shows, and it's called LeBron TV or some shit. And LeBron's like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. And Sarah Silverman is like, oh, yeah, naughty algorithm. What a dummy. Ha 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 ha. And then Don Cheadle's like, ooh, and he sucks them in. They go. Him and his son have another fight, and his son waywardly goes into a server room because nobody locks shit down at Warner Brothers, first off.
Yeah. That's how the Animaniacs keep getting out.
Basement filled with fucking servers that they don't keep locked up or refrigerated for that matter. And Hoops Barkley goes in and gets sucked into the serververse with his fucking dad, and Don Cheadle shows up and he's like, hey, ha ha, challenge me to a basketball game, or fuck you, I guess. And LeBron James is like, okay, who are going to be my players? And fucking Don Cheadle's like, oh, well, you're in the Warner Brothers serververse, so you can have your choice of anybody in the Warner Brothers universe playing on your team. And I will give them credit. They did establish pretty well why no other Warner Brother characters besides the Looney Tunes wanted to play on the team, because Bugs had an in where all of his friends left to like other properties and he wanted to get them back, so it was kind of twisted in that direction already. And then when they go to the places where the Looney Tunes are, they're already fucking things up for the other, like, so they couldn't get Superman because they fucked everything up in Metropolis because they're dumbass Looney Tunes doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Superman wouldn't want to help them. Of course, Wonder Woman wouldn't want to help them. All that kind of shit. So at least, props to them for at least coming up with a reason for that. Here's the thing, though. They could have avoided all of that if they didn't fucking have this Ready Player One fucking sensory overload nightmare that pervades throughout the entirety of the movie.
Oh, but you're forgetting to mention the best part, which is the thousands upon thousands of Game of Thrones references. Yeah. Because they clearly wrote that back when that was still popular, before the horrible season came out.
Because it was, I believe, the part of LeBron James was originally going to be Kobe Bryant. And then,
no, that's not true.
That was a joke that I made.
Really? Are you sure?
I made that.
I feel like, no, seriously, I feel like I've heard that somewhere else. Maybe I'm making it up.
That was an offensive joke that I made. And when they were showing...
I've
Kobe,
assumed this was the truth.
The Kobe Bryant effect. It's like the Mandela effect. But no, that was a joke that I offensively made during the montage the algorithm was showing of all of LeBron James the man's basketball career. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if there was like accidentally some Kobe scenes mixed in here that they forgot to edit out because this is originally supposed to be him, but he blew up.
Oh no! It's Space Jam 2 is Kobe Bryant's Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Or not Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah.
Hippopotamus. Okay, hippopotamus. Okay, what I was talking about with the sensory overload nightmare in the Ready Player One, the reason why I keep saying this is because the serververse is indeed like Kingdom Hearts style.
All of their properties.
They're like fun little miniature worlds, Kingdom Hearts style.
It really was Kingdom Hearts style. I would almost bet they got the idea directly from that.
And
okay, I was wrong. This was just a joke. He was briefly offered it and immediately turned it down. So it was not written for him as I had originally thought.
Yeah.
But the point I wanted to make is that clearly this movie had been in for production far too long.
Yeah.
Which is why there's like all these
dated references.
all these like Game of Thrones references. When once that finale aired, nobody gave a shit about it. That was like the quickest drop off of
I told you.
Seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a fandom abandoned so quickly.
Yeah. I told you they were fucking really up funny. And nothing good would come of it, and nobody listened to B-Rye.
I listened to you.
Well, yes, of course you did, but normies didn't.
I mean, I never liked Stinky Rape Show anyway, so fuck it. Anyway, so this Kingdom Hearts universe full of shit, right?
Jack Skellington joins the party.
So
and,
where I'm coming at with the sensory overload is that once the basketball game starts, I don't know how much of the actual runtime the basketball game is in the movie. It could be very similar to the runtime of the basketball game in Space Jam 1. However, the game in Space Jam 2 feels like it is 9 hours long.
Yeah,
it did.
And
it goes on forever.
The entire time, like the entire observable universe of WB characters, and this includes everything that's Hanna-Barbera, apparently.
Yeah, everything that the Warner Brothers
own the rights
company
to.
Owns.
Yeah,
which is a lot of shit.
A lot of shit, and they all just jammed it into the audience. So they couldn't get all the characters because it's a Space Jam. You only need the Looney Tunes playing the beloved Looney Tunes that everyone loves. That was mean. But also, like, I mean, come on. You got Bugs, Daffy, and then, like...
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Porky, kind of. Nobody really likes Porky.
Nobody likes Porky.
He's awful.
Porky is the only Looney Tune to fall into the uncanny valley. Because he is both man and big.
Yeah.
Anyway, the basketball game happens. And the audience is the entirety of the Warner Brothers cinematic everything.
And a bunch of real people who got sucked in.
And the fucking Don Cheadle AI had the ability to warp people from the real world into the basketball game to watch the basketball game, just like he did with Hoops and
some of those people
and the King
were
himself.
Some of those people were driving or undergoing heart surgery. They died.
I just imagine some fucking like a helicopter pilot or something. Yeah. It's just checking the time on his phone.
Helicopter pilot.
He's just checking the time on his phone, or like where or maybe he just wants to take a picture of like the below.
No, it looked like you only got sucked in if you activated the app.
Oh, okay.
That was promoting the game.
Okay, at least I got that.
Like, there were tons of people that were driving and doing it, but definitely nobody was in heart surgery to watch the
oh my God,
game.
Wait, hold on. This is all coming together.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was written for a much earlier time, right? So, back when Game of Thrones was still popular.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So, what happened was, this took place in 2016. And Hillary Clinton said, Pokemon, go to the Space Jam polls. And everyone booted up, all the Democrats booted up their phones. And they got sucked into the Warner Brothers universe.
Oh, no.
And that's why Donald Trump won. Because all the Democrats were watching Space Jam. They were watching Space Ghost twirl around every fucking scene that he's in. Fuck this movie. Okay, let's get back to it.
I am legitimately surprised that Donald Trump wasn't in Space Jam 1.
Oh yeah, it's like a prescient kind of thing. Where,
like Home Alone.
Some kind of weird predictive thing. They'd be like, can you believe that Space Jam fucking called Donald Trump falling down the stairs and shitting himself all the way back in 1998? Like, We gotta get back to the movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that detour of my self-amusement.
This movie did things to our brains.
I think the point that we really want to accentuate is that the entire time this basketball game is going on, the sidelines are filled with characters that are constantly just doing this, like, idle animations, basically. Like they're it's not like they're watching the game. They're just like dancing and moving around and just being there is visual clutter.
Yes.
That is
visual
offensive.
Clutter is a good way.
It is offensive and distracting the entire time.
It was awful.
Because, okay, let's do a little. I know we aren't supposed to be doing this, but let's do a little compare and contrast, shall we? With Space Jam 1, right? That movie also had an
Forget Space Jam 1. Literally any sports movie, has the audience as like just a fixture. They're there. They're not something you look at.
You can't ignore
they have
them,
to be there because it would make no sense if they weren't there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not that you can't ignore them, but like, you need to have them because they're there. They're a fixture, but you ignore them. The camera work is done in such a way to where you can ignore
They're just
the
blurred
audience
out background
for when it's
moving
important
figures.
that you ignore them. The audience isn't distracting from the boring action happening in the front of the screen because a fucking flying monkey is doing a silly little fucking dance while they're trying to explain to you important plot shit.
There was a scene in particular where a relatively important plot piece was being explained.
Yeah, what happens is Don Cheadle realizes he's losing. He gets angry. He like shouts at his team a little bit. And like goes to sit down all flustered, and he misses the bench and just falls on the floor, and he gets up madder, and it's like, it gives you a chuckle.
Yeah,
it's a pratfall,
Bad
but
guys coming unhinged.
Yeah, bad guys coming unhinged. It's a little bit funny, so we're like, haha, did our laugh, and B-Rye is losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Like, it is the funniest thing. I'm like, yeah, B-Rye was. I mean, it was funny, but like not that funny. We hear shrieking, wheezing over the mic. No, it's a dancing monkey.
Back it up, because the whole time that's happening, a flying monkey from the Wizard of Oz is in the stands behind Don Cheadle.
Incredibly visible,
almost glowing because he's blue.
Yeah,
and like he's stark blue compared to the background around him, which is a bunch of dark figures. And he's just doing this stupid dance. Which, like, it's also, like, the fact that the monkeys were clearly a human being, like, green screened the motion of that. They didn't bother giving it a monkey's proportion. It literally looks like a small human in a suit.
Danny DeVito in a monkey costume.
That thing just dancing in the background, very visible, completely overshadowed anything anyone was trying to talk about, and it destroyed me.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Shit, we forgot to go into another thing, is that this movie, much like the first movie, has a team of opposing basketballers.
Oh, yes, the Monstars. They do bother to call them the Monstars again. Space Jam 1 canonically happened in this movie.
Yeah.
So, like...
That's true.
They do make a couple clever... Well,
they get credit for acknowledging.
Yeah, they acknowledge. They acknowledge the previous movie. There is a scene where the original Monstars and their little baby alien forms
little aliens
are like, oh yeah, for a bit. 90% of this basketball game is just us looking at the characters in the background, being like, "Oh, it's him! Oh, it's him! Oh, it's him!" It's like, "Oh, it's it from the movie It! Oh, it's Agent Smith from the Matrix." There's a lot of Matrix references in this movie for no reason.
It's not. Yeah. It's not Agent Smith from the Matrix. It's not
Pennywise.
It's not Pennywise. It's Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Costumed people that you pay $5 to take a picture with.
They obviously
put those in the movies.
They obviously didn't have the budget or just to bother with getting all these dancing assholes to be their original actors. Yeah. So it's
the thing is that like,
well, fucking Voldemort's in the movie, and I was like, does that mean Ray Fiennes gets a like appearance credit in this? Like, what's the deal here?
Well, that just got me thinking. Like, okay, so. These they're very poor likenesses. They look like very cheap costumes. That's why I said Hollywood Boulevard, because they look like those assholes out there where like they do just enough effort to where they're not embarrassing to take a photo with.
Yeah.
But they're not them. On a deep, understood fundamental level, they're not them. And that's what was like another huge distraction with this fucking audience is constantly seeing not just, recognizable characters, but imitations of recognizable characters. And so there's this intrinsic wrongness about everything going on. And also Lola Bunny's face is fucked up.
It was not good.
Well,
you're forgetting to mention that.
I forgot to mention that all the Looney Tunes get turned into CG.
Yeah. Oh my god, I hated the grain.
I forgot to bring that up.
Only for the basketball game.
Only for the basketball
game. What is funny about it, at least, is they react to it with horror. Like they're slowly 3D-atized. And they're like, oh, no, as it creeps up their arm. And they're very relieved when they're back in 2D. Yeah. As they become two-dimensional, they're relieved. We're relieved. Everything.
Everyone cheers.
Gets a little better.
And I think they were 3D-ified because here's my thought process and what happened. So the NBA players who lent their likenesses to become members of the Goons, the Goon Squad, I think they're called.
Yeah.
Something like that. The Monstars 2.0. Anyway, they lent their likenesses to be that, but they made a stipulation. They're like, I don't want to be no cartoon that's gay. So they made a compromise where, okay, we'll make you CG and look a lot like you because our Looney Tunes-ified style for you. You saw how LeBron looked in the Looney Tunes style. You thought he looked like a punk. I get it. Fine. You are now CG in the movie. Shit, they look like crap contrasted against our Looney Tunes. We have to make the Looney Tunes CG now. Quick. Get the team who made Sonic the Hedgehog look good in 2 months. On the phone. All because What's-Her-Face, who looks like Ichabod Crane, didn't want to look like a Looney Tune. I don't know these sports people. All I know is she looks like Ichabod Crane. Put her on the screen.
I asked this during the movie, but I'll ask it again now. Al G. Rhythm, when he assembled the Goon Squad, he did not have to recruit actual basketball players from our world and go to the trouble of sucking them into his app and offering them some bargain.
He didn't suck them in, though. He didn't suck them in.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he didn't even have to go to the trouble of doing that, considering that he had the Serververse TM at his disposal. Why?
He could have just picked a team of supervillains.
Yeah, why wasn't his main point guard fucking Gregor Clegane? He clearly had access to Game of Thrones as a property.
Okay, so that's actually there are tons of huge misses and what could have beens in this movie. A mountain of them. We can't go over them all.
Yeah, why did he bother to go?
Say you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
If they had they presented this big open
ultimate crossover
serververse.
type thing.
And they did shit all with it.
Yeah.
They did fuck poop. They're a bunch of assholes because we could have had, instead of Ichabod Crane and her funny atomic Superman, that's what they fucking reminded me of.
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
The Trotter episode of Futurama. It was like,
he's showing just what a man with a cannon in his chest can do.
Exactly. And that's what those fucking, the new Monstars, the Goon Squad, whatever, that's what they remind me of. We had these fucking asshole losers. Instead of, we could have had Fucking Gregor Clegane. We could have had Agent Smith. We could have had... shit, they could have just done cartoons.
Yeah.
Taylor,
could you imagine fucking Moltar or Zorak be like... showing up on the basketball court?
I can imagine Moltar doing an idle animation. As part of an obnoxious-ass crowd.
No, back to the fun. You could have had Pennywise. You already had him in the movie. Yeah, they're bad likenesses, but just make it CG to sort of match them. That, or whatever.
Yeah.
They're good. There's a ton of ways that you could have done a much funner thing with the tools that you already had. And instead, you go for what we got.
Yeah. Well, I definitely see the logic behind that decision, because that's what the original Space Jam did. The Monstars were all based off of basketball players.
I know the logic.
And it's a basketball movie. Uh-huh. And the concept of basketball in the NBA, I suppose, is one of the big things they're trying to promote. So you get all your big players in there, you use their likenesses, and all the fans of those teams and those players can be like, oh, it's that guy. We just don't care about that because we don't give a shit about sports. And we have no idea who any of these people are.
Yeah,
but to people who care, that's as big a deal as Neo or Clegane.
Yeah,
being in here.
we're a bunch of man children who want to see fucking Brack do a slam dunk instead of see the big eyebrow guy with wings go, what the book? I like it to basketball.
Yeah, the Goon Squad left a lot to be desired.
Literally only the time guy was fun.
Yeah, they were all like mutant things with animal powers. There's one that's like a bird, one that was a spider,
Snake.
The snake, and then one that was wet fire.
Yeah, wet fire. And then there was Mr. Clock.
Yeah, Mr. Clock Boy.
Yeah.
Kronos, eater of sun.
Yeah.
And he was pretty cool because he had time powers, and he
had
did
the Quicksilver
Yeah,
scene,
he did the
basically.
Quicksilver thing, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I mean, you write that into your movie, and you have the special effects.
Point
to back it up.
is,
you're gonna have a great scene.
Point is, his abilities were useful in cheating at basketball,
Yes,
as opposed to Wet Fire, who is wet and also fire. And does that help with basketball? Would I be a better baller if I were on fire and also could be made of water? No, that makes no sense. It's terrible.
And yes, I know we're being fucking pedantic trying to pick apart this movie for children.
Why didn't anyone slip in him? The wet fire guy.
Because that would have taken more budget to animate.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm picking out, I'm nitpicking all this shit, not because I'm like, ooh, it doesn't make sense. Why are they in a fucking Looney Tunes universe? No. I know it's a movie for fucking kids. Make it fun for the fucking kids.
Yeah.
You had all of these interesting venues you could have gone to make the movie really fun.
Yeah, that's
for everybody.
That's something I do want to point out. I loved Space Jam 1 when I was a kid. I don't think I would have liked this one.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gotten anything they were going for. I think that they had so many jokes and references for the parents that I just wouldn't have cared about or known.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, if you were a kid these days, you would have loved it because there's lots of colorful CGI characters fucking doing Fortnite dance idle animations in the fucking audience.
I don't know, maybe.
And the kids love it. The kids love the Fortnite, you see.
Is that what the kids love, or is that what focus groups say the kids love?
That's what focus groups
focus
says the
groups
kids
with
love.
the Sarah Silverman character.
Yeah.
That's what Sarah Silverman, who is not an actress in that universe, says about children's. Oh my god. Fucking, another thing about the jam of Space 2, that I wasn't exactly, impressed with, was the ultimate culminating climactic conflict where Hoops, who was originally playing for Don Cheadle's team against the Toon Squad, Hoops is finally like, Matt, me and my dad made up, so I'm not going to play for your team anymore, bye. And then Don Cheadle's like, well, you've done it now. You have betrayed me. I won't stand to be defeated. I'm the ruler of this world. Allow me to show you my earth-shattering power.
I remember
the
this.
ability to morph time and space at will. Don Cheadle got 2 feet taller and a little bit more muscular.
And gray.
And gray.
And he looks...
And you all remember, when that happened, I threw a fucking shit fit. And I'm going to throw another fucking shit fit.
He looked awful. He looked awful.
He looks like shit. It's calm down. It's a huge missed opportunity because no one wants to see Don Cheadle play basketball. If you could poll 1 million people and ask them, "Hey, do you want to see Don Cheadle play b-ball?" They're all going to say no. But this goes into what we were talking about before, how he had the perfect opportunity to become like some kind of amalgam of all these superpower characters from the Warner Brothers universe. He could have been some wacky combination of all the Goon Squad. Like if he had a fire arm and a bird arm and some spider legs, and he was this cool-ass monster that you would love to play with as a toy.
Yeah.
Like you would love that.
So you just get ripped Don Cheadle.
Yeah, you just get a big Don Cheadle. Nobody wants that. Kids don't want that.
You get fucking Gears of War Don Cheadle, which is the most unimaginative piece of shit, stupid thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. You had the world in your hands, and you chose Protein Cheadle. Fuck you. Whoever's in charge of Space Jam should be fucking fired.
He didn't
for
even
missing that amazing opportunity to do something fucking cool, and you fucked it up.
It didn't
on
even...
such a fundamental level. You idiot.
Didn't even call himself Flamin' Hot Cheetle or anything.
Oh my god.
Oh, the joke of the evening goes to me, right? Oh, but I think that Don Cheadle scene was emblematic of why I legitimately hate this movie the more I think about it. Like,
it wasn't a good experience.
No, it was a good experience because I got to laugh with you guys and bitch about this with you guys. That was the good experience. The movie itself, no.
So another thing I want to,
a huge disappointment on so many levels.
I want to double back a little bit and talk another thing. Just talking to see this, I have pits in my brain now because of this movie. That's why.
Yeah.
The flaming hot Cheetos burned holes in your brain.
I want to dial back a bit and talk about when the Looney Tunes characters got CGI-ified.
Oh my god!
And they all like turned into quote unquote realistic versions of what they would look like, were they 3-dimensional, if they were a living being in our world.
Yeah.
And two of the characters, Elmer Fudd and Granny from the Tweety Bird things, are ostensibly human, but they didn't turn into people played by actors. They played into horrifying, rubbery-looking, like the horrible crash test Play-Doh people.
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
I will.
Why weren't they humans?
They turned into Battletoads.
In defense of the CG, I thought Bugs and Daffy looked really good.
They actually did. They weren't
that
terrible.
was it.
I've
Yeah,
been
the
able
rest
to
of them look like
process
shit.
a little bit what they reminded me of.
Uh-huh.
They reminded me of what Donald and Goofy look like in the Pirates of the Caribbean world.
Oh,
In
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically.
Yeah.
Where they have the scary, realistic eyes with irises and pupils.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, no, they're supposed to be just black eyes. Black iris to merge with pupils. You don't need, and that's why I was so unsettled by those two.
Okay.
Even the rest of it, Daffy looked like he had feathers. The Roadrunner had nice little feathers on his head.
Oh yeah,
that looked nice.
But Porky, Elmer, Yosemite Sam,
Too
Granny
surreal for
looked
Porky.
like fucking shit.
Yeah.
They were so bad.
I want to also say one thing about when they were going about going throughout the various universes that Warner Brothers owns the intellectual property rights to, collecting the scattered Looney Tunes characters who had vanished and fled throughout the various worlds.
Yeah.
When they collected Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, he was in Fury Road, Mad Max.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And I genuinely loved that.
That was funny.
When
that
the
was
Roadrunner was one of the Immortan Joe's, what do you call them? I don't even. What are the Half-Life? What are those? Something War Boys. God, that was so hard. They're the only reason I watched that movie, and I can't remember what they were called. The Wile E. Coyote was one of the War Boys, and I actually loved that. That very, very brief, like 30-second thing of him.
And the cowboy from that one episode of Looney Tunes where Bugs is a cowboy too, and there's this big buff cowboy guy who comes at ends with Bugs. He was what's his face, big lip guy, Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
he was Tom Hardy strapped to the front of the car.
Yeah.
Why though? Why wasn't it just?
That was a super deep cut, and I appreciated it. I'm wow, got your obscure Looney Tune in there, man.
But that was the only one. That I wanted to bring that up because it was weird and jarring that there's this
who's
one
that guy?
Yeah, why is Mad Max this Looney Tune?
Tom Hardy also doesn't exist in.
Yeah.
There you go. I still think that it was a very clever use of the meshed properties. That was good. That was funny, and I liked it.
It was the only good one.
The
rest of them were terrible.
Yeah, the other ones the fucking Austin Powers with Elmer Fudd gave me it literally felt like being slapped in the face.
I blocked that from my memory.
You just see the Austin Powers, yeah, baby, and the transition they use in that.
My favorite part about that was how bad the resolution was.
Yeah,
For some reason,
they didn't have the film version or something.
Did they not film it on film? You can boost that shit up and it looks bad. It looks good.
Yeah,
if it's filmed, I guess they recorded it. They only had a digital cop. Oh, you know what happened? The animator only had their standard definition VHS of Austin Powers, and they had to rip it from a fucking machine and put it in there before they put FUD in there.
I don't even remember that. I remember the quick, thing of Austin doing that. Yeah, baby, and my brain just shut off sensory input for about however long it guessed that scene would be. My sensory input did not record. And so I have no memory of the rest part of that scene. And then
all you missed is Elmer Fudd was Mini-Me. That was the joke. The bizarre and constant Matrix references were constant and bizarre. Granny was in the Matrix world, and she kept doing Matrix stuff. And I guess it's just like, old lady doing Matrix stuff is funny, but like it's not.
It's not. It's cringe, if I'm being real.
Yes.
To coin a modern term.
Space Jam, you have posted cringe.
You have posted big cringe, bro.
Also, I just realized the original is called Space Jam because the antagonists were aliens.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do with space in Space Jam 2.
Oh my God, you're right. She's absolutely right. Yeah. Cyberspace?
I guess
you really want to fucking reach for it?
Yeah. They fucking reach at my balls. Fine, yes, cyberspace, but they didn't even call it that.
Yeah, they called it Serververse, which is the worst thing they possibly could have called it, and I hated that.
I really do hate that they called it the Serververse because, say. We're going to be a little silent for a bit. I want you at home to say out loud Serververse and feel how your mouth feels when you say it. Serververse.
I hate it.
Like the way what your lip does when you say it. Serververse.
Like
Serververse.
Spit wants to fly out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Like you can feel the spit in your mouth being like, oh, it's fucking time. It's go time. Here it comes.
And I can't believe that some writer or executive said Serververse and didn't immediately crush it down within them and forget the experience of saying it. They let this go on to film.
Some parents out there, sometimes maybe you really should crush your child's dream of being a filmmaker. Okay, so, yeah, I could go on for hours and hours about shit that I hate about this movie. I think it's a disaster on every level. So what I said at the beginning, I'll bring back as a little bookend. So, you know how open world video games, a lot of them are big, huge worlds, but they're filled with fucking nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Space Jam 2. It's this gigantic universe that they've created, and they did fuck all with it. And it was hollow, and it was not that fun. And it was just a shallow experience and made me sad. And I didn't get to see Voldemort doing a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And honestly, you had the world at your fingertips, and you just fucked up at every possible turn. Space Jam 2 is a disaster. And I don't think I'll ever be the same again. Just kidding. It doesn't matter that much.
But that's all, folks. I need to get baked.
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.